Just having a cup of coffee before I talk about this here RTA. Hello YouTube, and welcome to another episode of The Cloudy Vape. This video is going to be about the Goliath. The Goliath by Youde Technologies. So this looks like a weird RTA. The reason it looks weird is because you have a juice flow control right here, this little ring right here. It's a 22 millimeter, not RTA, RTA. Did I say RTA? I have no idea. So it's a 22 millimeter RTA, and you have this. I would probably say it's about 23, 24 millimeters. This ring that kind of protrudes out, but it adjusts the juice flow to the deck. So, yeah, let's have a little vape. Alright, so this is built at 0.4 ohms. I'm using 26 gauge Canthal wrapped around a 2 millimeter screwdriver, and I think it's about 8 wraps, 6 to 8 wraps, I cannot remember. But if you stay tuned to the end of this video, I'll do a quick build on this just to show you what I do as far as setting this up. So let's get intimate with this device, dive down, and check it out. Alright, let's check out this Goliath. It's a little dusty. This box is a little dusty. So this is the box it comes in. It's like most Youde boxes, very simple. You have the it slides out. It has that flap as always, and then it just tells you a little bit about the device. The device came in here. I have the device broken apart right there for you guys. On the back, you do have O-rings. You have screws, and yeah, that's it. I don't see any wire. No wire. Just O-rings and screws. So that is that little manual. Tells you a little bit about stuff, but the manual actually has some prototypes that they haven't removed. It was they were going to use a few different features that are not in this version. So yeah, the manual, at least on this one that they sent me, is not exactly accurate. So I don't really want to go much into that manual. That's why I'm ranting about that. But here is the Goliath all taken apart. So essentially, you have your deck, which has a little ring on it on the bottom to adjust airflow. And I'll go up closer, so don't worry if this is too far away. You have just a few sections to kind of seal off things, and that is a majority of your entire setup right here. So I'm going to just start from the bottom. Now we're here. I'm going to start from the bottom and work my way up. So here is the deck. If you see right here, it's a two-post design. Obviously, this would be your positive. This would be your negative. And it works very well. I'm so surprised, it being a two-post design, how well it builds. I thought I would have a lot of issues with heating up. I thought I would have issues with, screwing both leads down in each side, and also wicking. I mean, it just works very well. So I'm very, very pleasantly surprised about this one. As far as the screws go, they're just Phillips head screws. You do have some juice channels going on. If you look really close, if I can get super close in it, it will focus. So right here on the sides, they're kind of cut in, like a corner cut in, and then you have a little juice channel down at the bottom. That's kind of your juice channels, but you really just lay the cotton right in that little corner groove on each side, and you don't even get down into that well. You kind of want to leave a little bit of room for juice to seep in, and that is very nice. So you have 3 millimeter airflow holes going down from the deck. As far as these post holes, I believe they're about 2 to 2.5 millimeter post holes. So that is very nice. This little ring does remove just like the Goblin, and your airflow on the sides are going to be 3 millimeters in height, and roughly I would say 3.5 to 4 in width. So they are kind of like these fat cyclone type airflow on each side. On the bottom, like most Youde, you have Youde version 1 2015, and then you have your serial number. You also have an adjustable copper pin, and that is going to be the majority of what your deck is, essentially what your deck really is. So that is your deck. Let's look at the next part. So since your deck essentially can be removed from the tank, the tank section is its own portion as well. So let's look at this tank section. Here is your chimney, your Pyrex glass, and is very thick Pyrex glass, just like the Goblin. This is your juice flow control right here. Another part of your chimney slash barrel that goes over the deck, and then this is your top cap where your 510 connects. So the way I would assemble this is you start off with your juice flow control, which if you see right here, you can see through it. If I open it up, just like that, or close it off, and this ring does come off. So if you see, it just has a little rail that it slides through, and then right here has a little pin that the rail slides through, and that's essentially how it works. So first, you just line up this rail so when you open it up, it opens up the juice flow all the way. You can also see right here these kind of waves or EKG type symbols. So the larger wave is going to be all the way open, and then if you see there's a little water drop, I guess, that shows that it's closed off, opened up, closed off. And if you see inside of here, it closes off and opens up. So that's how you do your juice flow. Then this part right here, which goes over the deck, this slides in, and it's notched flat on each side. So you just find where those flat notches go in, and then it locks in place just like that. So it pops out, pops in, and it only fits one way. So you kind of just hold that down. And then you would take your little chimney part, which is either way. You can screw it in either side you want. Screw that down. Once that's in, nice and snug, set your glass top on it, and then get your top part with the fins, and just make sure you're holding in that bottom shell that goes over the deck. And then once it hits the threads, it will tighten down, and that is it. Just like that. So that is your entire setup pretty much. And then so that's the top part, and then your deck, if I grab it right here, your deck just goes right onto it, and then just threads right in. So what you do is you take the deck off upside down. Your deck will be exposed, and then you can adjust the juice flow and put your juice in, fill it up from right there and there, and has the open on both sides, so it does fill up pretty quickly. It's very nice. And then once you're done with that, you just put your deck back on, screw it down, and it's good to go. These threads are a little weird because you have such large cutouts on the deck. So just make sure you line it up nice and straight, and then that is your whole setup. So you are probably wondering, why is this so large? Well, it's kind of because of this little juice flow control. It did have to add a lot to it. But yeah, it's as far as the height, it's about 56 millimeters in height. And with this protruding juice flow control, it's about 24 millimeters. But the actual barrel, like this part right here, is 22 millimeters. So it does fit pretty well on most 22 millimeter devices. As far as juice capacity, I believe, let me look at this again, I believe it is 4 mil juice capacity. Yes, 4 mil juice capacity. So unless you fill it up all the way, you're probably going to get 3.5, 3 to 3.5 in here. So I wish it, had a little bit more juice capacity, but it is what it is. The fact that you can adjust this juice flow and then you can actually take off the deck and not disturb the liquid, is that's just what pretty much sold it for me. It's really good flavor and really simple to build. So that is just a quick rundown and you know, kind of run over what this is. It has quite a few parts, but once you take it apart once or twice, you understand exactly what needs to be done to put it back together. So yeah, that is that. And if you want to see a build video of this or a build of this, definitely look in the description box below. I'll put a few links to builds, but also watch the very end of this video and I'll do a quick build for you guys and show you how I set this up. So let's go back up to FaceTime and talk about it just a little bit more. So I'm really loving this device. The few things I would say, the cons right away the cons. Okay, the juice flow control, because I always open it wide up, as I showed you in the down low, it tightens up the tank onto the deck. So once I open up that juice flow control and it's screwed down on my RTA, it'll tighten it up onto the deck. So then once I try to take this off by hand, sometimes I can't just pull off this tank by hand. I have to put a screwdriver, take the RTA off of the device, turn it upside down. I just burped. Sorry, Cody. I didn't mean to burp. Take it off the RTA, put a screwdriver into the airflow, and then screw it. You know, use it as leverage to open it. So it's kind of annoying. But that's only if I really tighten it down, and that's just like my fault. That's not even really a con. It is a con, but isn't a con. I tighten down my RDAs like crazy tight because it's a spring-loaded pin, so I just tighten it down flush. So that is kind of my issue and not really the device's issue, I guess. I'm just, you know, really heavy-handed about that, so that's just one con. But as far as everything else, I cannot find issues with this. The wicking is ridiculously easy. It's nothing like the Orchid or the Goblin, any of the RTAs that you have to have the, you know, wick down in the channels. You just kind of lay it in these grooves, and it's not even, you don't even go into juice channels. As you'll see in a few minutes, I'll do a build video for you guys, or build on this video additional to this. Just I kind of want to separate it in case you just want to see the review and not the build. So definitely at the end of this, just stick around and I'll do the build. But yeah, as far as everything else, I can't really find an issue. The only thing I would say is cosmetically, that ring that I can't talk. The ring that adjusts the airflow. That's the only thing I would really say. Not airflow, juice flow. That's the only thing I would really say it's a con as far as the way it looks. It kind of is annoying because it protrudes out. So if you're really all about sleekness and everything looking very cohesive, that's going to look like an eyesore to you. And this these top fins really serve no purpose. So those are just cons. But as far as performance, man oh man, this thing has ridiculously good flavor, very easy to build, easy to wick. And it just works. It works and it works. Filling up is very easy. You can get to the deck really quickly. So I'm loving it. So yeah, there's a Goliath RTA. I'm having trouble talking today, guys. So hang tight and let's dive down and build this. Alright, so let's talk about what we're going to need to build on this real quick. I'm going to be doing about a 0.4 ohm build with some 26 gauge Kanthal. And as far as everything you need, yeah, you can have a screwdriver, tweezers, all that good stuff. Of course, you need cotton clippers, scissors. I'm actually going to be using a Coil Master because I don't have a 2mm drill bit handy. So I have one of these Coil Master devices, and I'm going to be using that to wrap this right now. So basically what you need is a 2mm diameter right here, 2mm in diameter to wrap this. And we're just going to do 8 wraps, 2 millimeter, and let's start these wraps. This is going to be a really short, no, I don't say short, I'm going to say long, and I probably won't have much editing on this, but we're going to do a few wraps on this. Alright, so here are the coils. I have two 26 gauge wrapped 8 times on a 2 millimeter screwdriver, or coil master, or whatever you're using to wrap. So 26 gauge, 8 wraps, and it's a 2 millimeter diameter. Okay, so what I do right away is I just take those coils and I just stick them all the way in on both sides and push it all the way up against the center of the deck. So they are just crammed in there all the way up against the center of the deck. If you see, just like this. So all you have to do now is just keep your 2 fingers and just push them up against the deck. Hold it there, and then grab your screwdriver and tighten it down. Alright, now that they're nice and tightened down, just clip the leads. Alright, so the initial setup was really easy. You just take those 2 coils, wrap them up, 8 wraps, 26 gauge, 2 millimeters, put them in the post on both sides, push it all the way up against, just butt it up against the center, and then tighten down your posts, and then you should have something like this. Now what you can do is just put your whatever you use to wrap them in. Actually, I need to take this off like here. So whatever you use to wrap them in, just go ahead and put it in like that. Strain it out. And then just kind of adjust it where you need to have it. And it works pretty well because you only have those 2 leads. And it just centers up pretty well. So if you see, just like this, that's all you need to do. It's about where it needs to be, height-wise and everything. It looks pretty good. And we'll fire it up and crimp it down just a little bit more. But yeah, the essential just putting in the coils is actually really simple because it is this 2-post, and I thought a 2-post design would be really hard to do. You wouldn't have much options, but just put that coil in, butt it up against the center, tighten it down, and then just adjust it. So I'm going to adjust this one now. Put it in, bend it down. Put it on the other side. Just like that. Push it over a little bit. And then, yeah, just wiggle it around until you get it to where you want it to be. So there you go. That is essentially how you put it in. Very simple. And now we'll fire it up, and we'll look at getting these things heating up evenly, and also check the ohms and whatnot. So now what you want to do now is get some tweezers, or if you have ceramic tweezers, and just start firing up the coils. They're firing up pretty evenly already. I don't really have to do much to them, but I'm just going to crimp them. Go on the other side, crimp it. Just give it a nice little Trevor Jones strum. Strumming on Trevor's guitar. Fire him up. Alright. One needs to be moved a little bit. So, there you go. Heating up nice and evenly. And it's exactly where I want it on the deck. So this is sitting at about 0.42 ohms. Alright, so the next thing to do is to get your cotton, Japanese cotton, whatever you want to use, and just cut a nice thin piece. I would say do about a 1/4 inch piece. So I'm just going to cut this. You don't really need too much cotton once it's said and done. It's actually a really small piece of cotton once you're done cutting it and everything. So I'll just use this little strip. And as always with this Japanese cotton, peel off the front and back little pads that are on it. It should be just very, very thin. You peel those off, and then you'll have a nice piece of cotton to work with. And then what I do is, like I do in most of my videos, just grab the two ends and then just twist it. Give it a nice twist, and then you'll have a little point to feed into the coils. So let me get that cotton away, and then just cut it directly in half, just like that. So now what we're going to do is let's put the cotton in. So I'll start with this side first. Just feed that cotton through. Grab it on the other side. Alright. So what you want to do is you want to grab the two sides of the cotton and then just kind of move it back and forth. That way you know that it's not too snug, but it's also not too loose. It's just, you know, just right. You want to get it just right. Definitely don't want to cram it in there, and you don't want it to be too loose that it'll just fall out. So this is about, you know, what you need for the cotton on each side. And let's go ahead and put the other cotton in. Now we have all the cotton in. Now all we have to do is just cut it really, really close to the deck. What you want to do is you want to angle it, essentially angle it right in front of the coil, just like that, and kind of cut at an angle right up against that deck, and give it a cut. Now when you cut your cotton, this is about as much as you want. You want very, very little. Kind of cut it at an angle. It's just how the corner of that kind of juice well works. You can just cut it right at an angle. I do have a little frizziness going on, but I can fix that. That's really not a big problem. But yeah, that's about as much cotton as you want in there. It's not a lot at all, really. You just as close to the deck as you can and cut it at an angle, kind of just shaping the whole entire deck. And that's what you want to do with that. So the next thing with this, I would definitely prime the cotton. So put some juice on it. So all you really have to do with this cotton now is just lay it into the grooves. You don't want it to go all the way down into these little corner pockets. Let me lay it down. I'll show you exactly what I mean. But you don't want it to go down to the very bottom. You don't want it to hit the actual juice channel that's connecting to the deck. You want it to just barely going in that corner, and you want that juice to kind of seep up and kind of just hang out there, and then it'll go into your wick. So let me just finish this real quick, and I'll show you what I mean. So now if you see all around, it's just barely laying into that channel, and that's all you really want, and that is it. Once you do that, it's done. Fill up your tank and you're good to go. So really, wicking on this device is simple. You can use more cotton if you want or not, but because you have a consistent flow of juice always coming in, the main thing you see here, you have a tiny juice well right there compared to the big kind of cut in corner that the deck is sitting on. So once that juice goes in there, it just fills up that corner, and then it wicks the cotton. So that's about it. That's all I could really say as far as wicking. I haven't had a dry hit. Even if I use too much cotton, the first time I built it, I was just kind of testing with it, and yeah, even with too much cotton, it does wick very well, just because of the style of the juice channels. So very nice, and it's just so much easier than the Goblin to wick. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is fill up this tank. All you have to do is just adjust it to the open, all the way open. Turn it like that. Get your favorite juice. Pick one side, and boom, it's full up. It's all full. Full up. I don't know what that means, but yeah. So you just keep filling it up, and then yeah. Once that's done, we can tighten off this deck. All right, there you go. So now this tank is pretty much full. You have a little residual right there, but that's no issue. So now what we'll do is we'll turn this deck upside down, and we'll just set it right in there. Just line it up, and if I can get this, there we go. Alrighty, my juice channel is open. Move it like this. Ooh, you can see the vapors. So there it is. There's a quick build. Nothing fancy. Just thought I would do a quick build just to show you how I do it. Yeah, so that is the build you've seen me vape on this whole movie. Exact same build, same wicking methods. And yeah, so I'm enjoying it. I'm loving it. And yeah, I hope you found it helpful. So there it is. There's a quick build on this. If you have any questions about this build or about this RTA, definitely comment below or email me at cloudy.vape@gmail.com. Thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, please like it. And if you like my videos in general, please subscribe. And as always, stay classy and keep vaping.